Welcome to today's daily current affairs video, designed for aspirants preparing for UPSC, SSC, and other government exams. Let us move on to the first question. Consider the following statements regarding the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, and India's position, in light of the June 2026 plenary meeting. India has assumed the vice presidency of the FATF for the first time. The presidency of the FATF is a permanent position held by the G7 nations on a rotational basis. The FATF Secretariat is housed at the headquarters of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, in Paris. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only. B. 2 and 3 only. C. 1 and 3 only. D. 1, 2, and 3. Correct answer is C. 1 and 3 only. Explanation. Statement 1 is correct. Following the FATF plenary meeting held in Paris, India was officially elected as the vice president of the FATF for the first time. Statement 2 is incorrect. The FATF presidency is not a permanent privilege reserved for the G7. The plenary elects the president from among its member jurisdictions for a fixed term of 2 years. Statement 3 is correct. The FATF is an independent intergovernmental body whose secretariat is physically housed at the OECD headquarters in Paris, France. Moving on to our next question. With reference to the India Cooling Action Plan, ICAP, consider the following statements. It was launched by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, BEE, under the Ministry of Power. It aims to reduce cooling demand across all sectors by 20% to 25% by the year 2037-38. It sets a specific target to reduce refrigerant demand by 25% to 30% within the same timeline. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only. B. 2 and 3 only. C. 1 and 3 only. D. 1, 2, and 3. Correct answer is B. 2 and 3 only. Explanation. Statement 1 is incorrect. The India Cooling Action Plan, ICAP, was launched in 2019 by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, MoEFCC, not the Ministry of Power. Statement 2 is correct. One of the multi-sectoral targets by 2037-38 is to reduce cooling demand by 20% to 25%. Statement 3 is correct. The ICAP also specifically targets a reduction in refrigerant demand by 25% to 30% by 2037-38 to phase down climate-warming hydrofluorocarbons, HFCs. Let's proceed to the next question. In June 2026, the Union Commerce and Industry Minister announced the timeline for the implementation of the India-European Union EU Free Trade Agreement, FTA. In the context of India's trade agreements, consider the following statements. The agreement with the EU will provide Indian goods with near-zero duty access across the 27-nation bloc. This will be India's first ever comprehensive free trade agreement with a major Western economic bloc. Agriculture and dairy sectors in India are typically completely deregulated and offered with zero restrictions under all of India's active bilateral FTAs. Which of the statements given above is/are correct? A. 1 only. B. 1 and 2 only. C. 2 and 3 only. D. 1, 2, and 3. The correct option is A. 1 only. Statement 1 is correct. The FTA concluded with the EU will provide Indian exports with virtually zero duty access to the massive European market. Statement 2 is incorrect. India has already signed major FTAs with Western-aligned developed economies, notably the India-Australia Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement, ECTA, and the India-UAE EPA. Statement 3 is incorrect. India maintains highly protective, sensitive product lists, particularly in agriculture, dairy, and local manufacturing, across its trade agreements to defend domestic farmers from heavily subsidized foreign imports. Moving to the final set of questions. Observing World Sickle Cell Day, consider the following statements regarding sickle cell anemia. It is an inherited genetic blood disorder caused by a defective gene affecting hemoglobin. A person can develop the full disease condition even if they inherit the defective gene from only one parent. While there is no known permanent cure, treatments are entirely limited to symptomatic pain relief. Which of the statements given above is/are correct? A. 1 only. B. 1 and 2 only. C. 2 and 3 only. D. 1, 2, and 3. The correct option is A. 1 only. Statement 1 is correct. It is a genetic disorder that deforms red blood cells into a rigid sickle shape. Statement 2 is incorrect. It is an autosomal recessive condition. A person will be born with the active disease only if they inherit 2 defective genes, one from the mother and one from the father. Inheriting one gene results merely in a sickle cell trait. without full symptoms. Statement 3 is incorrect. Although rare and resource-heavy, a permanent cure exists through bone marrow, stem cell transplants, or advanced gene therapies. Let's move on to our final question of the day. Recently in the news, a severe commercial industrial accident involving an ammonia, nitrogen trihydride gas leak occurred at a private processing plant in Tamil Nadu. Consider the following statements regarding ammonia gas. Ammonia is a colorless gas that is lighter than air, possessing a characteristic pungent smell. It is a highly flammable gas that explodes spontaneously when it comes in contact with ambient air at standard atmospheric pressure. In the environment, ammonia acts as a critical component in the nitrogen cycle, but high concentrations in water can lead to eutrophication. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only. B. 2 and 3 only. C. 1 and 3 only. D. 1, 2, and 3. The correct option is C. 1 and 3 only. Statement 1 is correct. Ammonia is a colorless, highly pungent gas that is significantly lighter than air, meaning it dissipates upward in open environments rather than pooling on the ground. Statement 2 is incorrect. Ammonia is classified as non-flammable or weakly flammable under normal atmospheric conditions. It requires very high concentrations and a high-energy ignition source to burn. Statement 3 is correct. It is an integral component of the global nitrogen cycle. However, excess atmospheric or industrial discharge into water bodies causes massive algal blooms, severe oxygen depletion, and eutrophication. That wraps up our current affairs session for today. Thank you for watching, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more updates. See you next day.